Guys, so recently I came across this video online, and it was about a guy describing the UK as dark. He actually had a lot to say, and from all I could deduce from what he made on his video, it was just actually describing the UK from a scarier point of view. I would like you to watch just a very short clip of the video. It's actually longer than this, but just a very short clip of the video, and I will come back.
Noticed, but there's a real sort of darkness that's been creeping in the UK for a long time now, and I've noticed it. I noticed it just before, the lockdown, and before that whole disease. But after that, there's been a real sort of shift, and it's gotten worse. I say this because I had this experience. It was kind of uncomfortable. So on the train, I was getting on the train, and there was this lady there. She was a mixed race girl, really pretty woman, and I just went there. I think she was opposite me, so I went there, sat down, had my bags, just put stuff in my bag when I sat down and shoot on the train. I just looked up like that, sort of nodded while I was doing my stuff, and then I sat there peacefully, and then a minute later, she gets her stuff. She gave me this weird look, like a disgusted look. And then she picks up her stuff, and she goes and sits down on the other side of the carriage. And people are looking like her, and they're looking at me, like sort of thing, like, what did I do or something? There's that sort of sense. So. And I looked, I was like, okay, I didn't want to make nothing of it, because it's embarrassing. I was kind of like that, but I looked at her, gave her a glance, looked at me, and then just looked away like that. And I was like, what, was she scared of me or something? I don't know, I just feel that there's this darkness and fear. Now, it's kind of obvious that there's a fear of people now. Well, I say obvious, but maybe it isn't, but there's a fear of people, there's untrustworthiness. And I think with that whole sort of like social distancing and all that kind of stuff, people are not trusting of others. But then there's this real discontent as well. In our bins, we keep finding like poo bags, like dog poo bags. Like, when they put it, the dog poos, and they put it in, have little bags. They keep throwing it in the bin. United here at all. And it's real sort of like feeling of just hate and depression. And listen, the weather's never been great. It's England, but I don't know, it feels like people really represent the weather when it's dark and gloomy and there's hopelessness and the economy and stuff. I just really feel it. And then there's like, you get the racist aspects of it, and you get the kind of like, oh, you're taking our,
So even before I came across this particular video, I have heard and I have watched some other videos about people describing the UK in such a similar way. Now, I have seen people describe the UK in certain terms. I have seen people make certain complaints. I've seen people make certain observations about the United Kingdom, for some time now. I've seen a lot of video about people complaining. And if you ask me, is the UK dark? Is there something a little bit, will I use the word terrifying? Is there something a bit different? I would say yes. I think there's something weird going on right now. I think there's something strange. There's just something off. It's not really something you can lay your hands on. In some situations, it's not something you can hold on to and say, oh yes, this is a particular thing. It's just, a few number of things here and there that are, when you bring them together, it begins to make sense that there is something wrong. Now, the first time I actually noticed there was something strange, or there was something off, or there was something different from the United Kingdom I used to know, was around 3-4 years ago. And let's just say 3 years ago. As from 3 years ago, I began to notice just this minor changes here and there. I just noticed that things were no longer the way it used to be. And I could actually say that a few things here are some of the reasons why this has come to be what it is now. Some of the reasons why some of these things we are feeling is actually taking place. Now let's start from the very first issue that the United Kingdom, not just the UK, but so many countries in the world are actually facing at the moment. But because we are talking specifically about the United Kingdom in this video, I will bottle it down to the UK. The cost of living is crazy. It is so crazy that you walk into the shop today to buy something. You might walk in there next week and the price has changed. It's so terrible that house prices, house rents, they've gone up, like foodstuffs gone up. You go into the shop, sometimes you walk up to you take all your shoppings, you take everything you have bought in your trolley, you walk up to the till, and if you are not careful, you have to start to take off some things out of your trolley because you thought you had enough money, but you definitely do not. It has also come to the stage where bills like the utility bills, the light bills, the water bills, the gas, electric, they're not just making sense anymore. A lot of people are choosing between their heating and their eating. They are choosing between heating, getting warm, and food to eat. And it's worse when kids are involved, because in this case you cannot, you are in a kind of very tight situation where you are thinking, should I choose between food or choose between heating? Then you come to the conclusion whereby you have to take the priority. In this case, it could be a very, very tight situation. And then when it comes to some other little bills, you discover that, this bill, you just paid this bill recently, before you know it again, you're paying it again, it has risen, and everything keeps going up. Everything is going up. Nothing is actually coming down. You are taxed here and there. Another issue here is the atmosphere. The atmosphere is a little bit different from what a lot of us are used to. A lot of us used to know. A lot of us used to feel. I, for one, I remember so many years back when I came into the UK, it was a more friendlier environment. It was a more friendlier atmosphere. People could go out of their way to say hello, to say hi, even when you are across the streets. Like you across the road. It's not like you're standing very close to each other. You could be across the road and someone is waving and someone is saying hello, hi. Someone, are you alright? Are you okay? Even if they mean it or not. But for the fact that it is said, you feel seen. You feel like your presence is actually noticed, But these days, everyone seems to be very cold. Everyone seems to be very distant from each other. You walk past through people that you even know, people you know them. It's not like they are strangers. You say hello or hi. If you're lucky enough, you could just get, oh, hi. If you're unfortunate, they could just ignore you and walk away like nothing happened. You get into the buses, everyone is just so the faces on the buses sometimes are so moody that it discourages you from even wanting to greet or wanting to say hello or hi. I remember there was a particular time I got on the bus, I was going somewhere, and very like me, each time I get on the bus, I always greet the driver. I'm always like, hello. And this particular day, I got on the bus and as usual, I said hello and he didn't respond. So I just thought maybe he was absent-minded and maybe he was carried away or just with work or whatever. So I, just ignored and went to sit. A few minutes later, I was getting off the bus and I said, thank you. And he didn't respond. So I was just like, well, that's it. I can't be asked about that. If he does not respond, that's his problem, not mine. I've been polite enough to greet. So if he does not respond to me, that's entirely up to him. And then when I got off the bus, there was this gentleman just behind me. The next minute, the gentleman said to the driver, what the hell is wrong with you? I greeted you when I walked into the bus. You didn't say anything. And I'm saying thank you right now. You didn't say anything. So at that point, I turned back and I was like, what's happening here? And the gentleman was talking to the driver. Is it too much for you to say, oh, just to respond to a greeting or whatever? Like, why are you so serious? What's happening? And then that's when it dawned on me that, oh, it wasn't only me he ignored. He also ignored the guy behind me. But the guy behind me took it seriously and they lashed out at the driver because he did not respond to his greeting. So yeah, it could sound funny to you, but actually it's a lot of people respond to issues differently. So I cannot fault him for, lashing out the way he did, because he expected to at least get a polite response in return. Anyway, that's that. A lot of people are so serious to the extent that they do not know if you are existing around them, that they don't see you, they don't care about you. Like, the lack of empathy is now becoming very obvious. If it was there in the past, I didn't really notice it, but it's becoming so obvious these days that everybody is minding their business, like they don't care if you're around. The coldness is just too weird. It's just uncomfortable. I watched a video some time ago about an American. This American came to the UK and he said he walked around the streets of a particular city and he was walking around and anytime he walks past anybody, he kind of greets, oh, hello, hi, what's up? And that if he greeted 10 people, out of the 10 people, only about 3 people responded, that the remaining people either ignored him or gave him a very strict look. And then he was like, what's up with all these people? Like, why are they so serious? So that made me understand that it's kind of almost a general problem. A lot of people are becoming unfriendlier, and whatever is responsible for this is what we are yet to find out. Another issue that is also a problem and that is responsible to dampen the mood of people is the weather. Now, in as much as you say, oh, we've heard this severally, of course we will still keep talking about it because it does not seem to improve anytime soon. The weather is depressing. The weather is discouraging. The weather is dark. Dark in the sense that there is nothing encouraging about the weather for you to feel excited. When the sun is out, the first thing you want to do is, oh, I want to jump out there. I just want to have a walk. Even if you have nothing important or nowhere important to go to, you want to take a walk. You want to go to the park. You want to stroll down your streets. You just want to walk down to the shop. You just want to enjoy the moment where the sun is hitting you. You want to be out there. You don't want to be indoors. But because the lack of sun is an issue, you see people kind of get muddled up indoors 24 hours because they can't be bothered to go out. Like, what are you going out there to do? Why would you want to leave your house to walking out there into the cold atmosphere, into a very dampy one? It's always raining, especially if you live in the north part of England. It's 24 hours. The weather is dark, it's raining, it's wet, everywhere is just soggy. Like, there is nothing exciting about the weather, because when it's wet and damp, you can't go to the park, you can't go to the fields, you don't want to go out, you just want to be indoors, have your cup of coffee or tea, stretch out your legs, and Now, for introverts, they may not have a problem with this. They might just feel like, wow, it's part of my normal or daily life. I can be indoors 24 hours. As long as I have food and I have internet, I am fine. But if you're not an introvert, you will begin to see that this is a serious issue. And then because the sun is in very limited quantity and, almost everyone is suffering from this lack of vitamin D, it's a serious problem. The cold has kind of gotten into every part, every joint, every areas of our body and stiffen it. So you just find out that you need to kind of exercise. You need to do one or two things to, loosen up the joints. There's a lot going on. it's not something I can actually sum up in one video, because in some cases you think it's just this problem alone, and then when you relax, you remember, oh, this is something else happening, or there's something else that's the issue, but there's something else that's the issue, but something is not too right about the situation we are finding ourselves in the UK at the moment. Now, I can't really say if it's as a result of what we all experienced in the past, from the lockdown, the situation, the COVID situation, but I know that it was after that I began to notice some of these differences. There was a massive change from, there was kind of a change, there was kind of a difference. It's like something left the UK. It's like something disappeared. It's like something just pulled itself out of the UK, and then everyone was just left left in a shock. Another factor that is also making the UK kind of boring, dark, let me use the word, unattractive and unpleasant is the mass exodus of people from the UK. Now, if you haven't noticed this, once in a while you go around YouTube, you go around social media and just click it, type it there, are people leaving the UK, and you will see loads of videos of people who are testifying or who have testified on why they actually left the UK, and what they're experiencing in their new residence. Or you see videos of people talking about why they want to leave. Like, there are so many videos out there about people who want to just go. Like, they're saying the UK is no longer what it used to be. They're saying the place is no longer enjoyable, and they're saying there is no hope anymore for people, especially the young ones here. So they are living in droves. So when you think about it, that, oh my goodness, I used to know someone, or I used to have this friend, or there's this family member of mine that has left the UK or is about to leave the UK, you feel like, oh my God, am I going to miss this person? Am I going to be lonely? Am I going to want a friend or want someone to talk to, and I can't find because this person has just left the UK? Sometimes that anxiety is there. It makes you want to think, oh my God, so what's going to become of me when they leave? Am I going to be lonely? And before you know it, you start to think, you start to worry, you're anxious. And all of those things kind of come together, and that's where you see yourself manifesting depression. It just creeps gradually. It's not just like one boom on your face. It's a gradual thing, from one issue to the other, from one issue to the other, and before you know it, you are sitting down and you're wondering, what the hell is wrong? What's happening to me? So that's the situation we have found ourselves. There's just a lot going on. And then another issue is the unemployment rate. Now, you could be wondering, really? Unemployment? Oh yes, there is unemployment. You might not notice it if you are not job hunting. You might not notice it if you're already employed. It's those who are looking for maybe a change of career, or are actually looking for a new job or something of that sort, that will tell you that, my goodness, it's not what I expect. Like, the job market out there is almost non-existent, especially in some particular fields. Now, I have this friend of mine who is a graduate. She had her degree here in the UK, and unfortunately, after her graduation, she has not been able to secure the kind of job she wants. She has not been able to get the kind of employment she actually attended the uni for. And when she voiced out her concern, someone said to her, oh, you should just take anything, you should just go grab any job is better than nothing at this point. And she was like, but why should I just take any job? I went to the uni for a purpose. I went to the uni to study a particular course because I wanted to use the course to achieve something in my life. And of course, I stand with her, I support her, because you would not want to waste that 3 years or so in the uni just to come out and take any job. But because the situation we have found ourselves in now is not a palatable one, so you do anything to survive. You take any job just to survive. And now, underline that word, it's a key word, survive, because at this point, that's what a lot of people are doing in the UK. They're just merely surviving. They're not enjoying life at all. It's mere survival. So she didn't just want to do that because she felt, well, if I could, you know, sacrifice my time, sacrifice, you know, my money, sacrifice a lot of things for this uni, I should be able to get the job of my choice. But unfortunately, because she can't get it, she now had to fall back to take any job. Now, this has also made her unhappy. It has also made her begin to think and begin to worry. What was the point going to the uni in the first place then? If it was going to like end up this way, she would have just just pushed that idea aside and just picked up any job and just, you know. So it's quite a lot. This is just something I can't lay my hands on properly, but there's a lot going on. But hopefully we get out of this situation as soon as possible. Hopefully the cloud will be clearer. Hopefully our future will be bright. Hopefully there will be light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.